Yep, here we go. Mega Leech, yes, indeed. Long time no see. In jokes. And live on a Sunday night. Okay, so this last moment I got Dirty Sue Premium Olive Juice for making dirty martinis, which I might be doing now. And hello, Luke and Raiders. Hello. Because I am deciding I need to start the stream with a freezer martini. Because Mrs. Angry and I had some martinis last night, which meant I reduced the level of my freezer martini, and I topped it up. And it's always interesting to see how the flavor changes when I top it up. Use 3 or 4 gins and 2 different vermouths to top it up. Give it a whole quality, and I might dirty it up. I want to taste it undirty first. Yeah, sorry. Dry martini is such a boozy drink. Oh, and just icy out of the freezer. I love it. I just, oh God, I was fiddling around with the camera controls and I don't think I fixed the focus. And so it's going to do this autofocus bullshit where it goes out of focus. So I'm just going to manually adjust that. First, I put it out of focus and I put it in. There we go. That'll do. That will do. Hello, Celtic. Sadly, it's a closed shop, the Cocktails and Cuddles. And hello, Greg. Luke, the change in resolution was probably a thing at your end, or it might have been a StreamYard thing, it might have been a YouTube thing. The fact is, there's a whole bunch of things that can affect what resolution you see the stream in. Certainly nothing that I've set at my end. But it's really funny, holding the stem, I can actually feel the cold radiating off my martini because it's been in the freezer. Oh, don't mind if I do. You know what? I am going to dirty it up just a little bit just to see what difference that makes. A little bit of cork ASMR. Just a splish of olive brine. Might even put some more in, but I'm going to underdo it rather than overdo it. Just using my finger to stir it. Because I'm a friggin' animal. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Oh, nothing. I was going to do something. I was going to do an experiment tonight with another cocktail recipe for a competition for Mr. Black. Because I had the idea and I've been thinking about it today and I think I know how to make it. And I want to try it at least and then decide if I want to adapt it anywhat. Celtic, what does it mean when a cocktail is dirty? You really only say that in reference to a martini because one of the traditional martini garnishes is an olive. And then some people, when they're putting an olive in the martini, you get a little bit of the salty brine that the olives are kept in a jar. And they went, I like that. Can I have a bit more of the olive brine? And so that became known as a dirty martini. If you put olive brine or saline solution in your martini, it's a dirty martini. If you put a lot of olive brine, it's a filthy, dirty martini. And so this is a bottle of stuff that is, well, they're calling it premium olive juice. Ingredients in tiny letters that I need more light on to see. Ingredients: olive brine, which is water, salt, olives, lactic acids, traces of benzoate as a preservative. So yeah, it's basically bottled olive brine for when you don't want to buy a jar of olives. Yes, Raiders, I did see that the Trump lover is going to be Premier of New South Wales. So that's a bit of fun because it's 18 months at least till they have another election. He could do a lot of damage in that time. Remains to be seen. Maybe he was all talk with the amount of stupid shit he said over time. Maybe not. But, they're all the fucking Liberal Party. But I guess we'll see. Because his most extreme thing would be to throw out all COVID restrictions, all of them, just throw them out overnight. Because he's a bit of a denier on that front. But I guess we'll see. Celtic, have you ever smoked cannabis or eaten an edible? I don't smoke anything. I think years ago, someone gave me a hash cookie, and I don't know if I ever really felt any effects of it. Because when I say years ago, I mean 30 years ago. If I was in America where it's legal, or anywhere else in the world where it's legal, I would absolutely try an edible. And in fact, apparently there's a whole spectrum with the edibles. I would absolutely try some to see what it was like. I think marijuana is broadly far less dangerous than alcohol, and I don't think any credible health authority in the world would contradict that. The cannabis ban is ideology and hype over reality. Hey, Justin, how are you doing this evening? And hello, Abigail, another in the long time no see crew. How's it going? So I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to be trying to test a recipe. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to get a little mini blender over here, and I'm going to put some crushed ice in it along with the ingredients, and then I'm going to blend it up and then pour it over crushed ice and see what it's like. Justin, you got a public holiday tomorrow. Good for you. So people are getting warnings and bannings on TikTok for smoking in lives. Okay. Well, for smoking the weed, the devil's weed. Yeah, I guess it's illegal in a lot of places, far more places than it's legal. B, TikTok is kind of aimed at kids, quite honestly. And the people behind TikTok want to make a lot of money of it, and controversy about drugs and being bad for the kids would affect their payday. So I'm not surprised they're doing that. To which I'd say anyone who thinks that's a bad thing. Sorry, Luke, you're saying any sort of smoking like tobacco. And well, same deal in vapes. That would come down to TikTok basically being for kids, and they're trying to get a payday, and anything that's going to negatively affect their payday, they're going to try and get rid of. To which I say to anyone who's on TikTok who think that's bad, I'd say, well, two things: either don't do it or get the fuck off TikTok, private platform. Raiders, MSNBC did a fascinating comparison between Florida and Australia, similar populations. Yes, Australia less than 2,000 COVID deaths versus Florida at 54,000. Because, State Governor DeSantis in Florida is a shit show. The Trump-loving states are a fucking disaster area with regards to COVID. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how bad it is. It's quite terrible to see. And again, the fact that people think it's over, you're getting this thing where people think like it's over, and the scope for friggin' COVID deaths in America. Actually, I want to look that up. USA vaccination rates. Okay, one from the Mayo Clinic. That might have it. I'm just intrigued. COVID rates by state. So there's a bunch that have got less than 40%. Okay, so stereotype. Mississippi's got 43% fully vaccinated. Alabama's got 42% fully vaccinated. Wyoming's got 41%. Idaho's got 41%. North Dakota's got 44%. You get Vermont's got 70%. Massachusetts got 68%. Connecticut's got 69%. Nice. Maine's got 69%. Washington's got 60%. Oregon's got 60%. They're actually doing really badly. Jesus. Unless they're all close to getting their second dose, we're on the verge of passing the US vaccine. We're already ahead of the most backward states. Jesus, you think like 50% of states being 60% of states being unvaccinated, that's plenty of room for thousands more. I think Aussie Gaiman, yes, you missed book club, but we did set the goal to have 3 chapters for next week's book club. So I'm sure you can catch up. It's early days. And yes, Mega Leech, mission accomplished all over again. Because you can see your glue stick. Yeah, there you go. Justin, your government departments want you to delete TikTok if you work with them because of the Chinese. It's very much a tracking device, TikTok. It's a very bad. Well, I think my saline solution sank to the bottom of my drink. As I get to the bottom of the drink, it tastes saltier. Which is not a terrible thing. It's a reason people put olive brine in martinis. Is it tends to go quite well with them. Aussie Gun Bunny book club starts at 6 o'clock Victorian time. Okay, and we just went into daylight saving today. So 2 hours ago, basically. I'm glad we can relax now, Abigail. You found your glue stick. That's always good news, finding a glue stick. Celtic, it's not an angry book club. It's not my book club. Raiders, you watched an Aussie guy pulling bongs on Twitch. Coverage. Some are going to prevent... Aussie Gun Bunny, it's 8:15 p.m. now. So yeah, 2.25 hours earlier than now is when you'd want to be at book club. Look at Raiders, what you're saying, full gave coverage. I worked out that's meant to be face coverage. Because so what are you doing, Mimsy? You freaking weirdo. My cat's skulking around the kitchen floor being a weirdo. Now she's sharpening her claws. Celtic Club. It's a reading Frank Herbert's Dune book club. Like I said, it's not mine. I didn't set it up. Yeah. Just saying, if you talk about anything controversial on TikTok, they'll shadow ban you. Well, I've never gone on TikTok, so I mean, I watch when people post funny TikToks on other social media. I say, now this is almost pure saline solution. Okay, that is good to know. If I just put saline solution in my glass and try and stir it with my finger, it's going to go to the bottom. I need to put it in a proper mixing glass. Okay, there's basically salt at the moment. Okay, fine. All right, so I'm going to put this away. Justin Wilson's just seen Mimsy. She's just going, Luke, what's a shadow ban? Shadow ban's when you're not actually banned from the platform, but you won't show up in search. It's very hard. You won't get promoted. It's very hard for people to find you. Right. Freezer martini. Back in the freezer. Now I'm going to get some things. Ugh. Okay, blender. All right, so I got my mini blender. I haven't used this in a little while, actually. I was doing Optifast shakes for a while. I haven't been doing them lately. I've just been eating the Optifast bars. So, got to remember what my ingredients going to be. Cachaça. Cherry rum. Wait, that's not the cherry rum. Where's the cherry rum? Seriously, where's the gin? I think that's it. No, that's another gin. Oh, staring me in the face. Fair enough. If it was a snake, it'd bite me. Okay, this is the 7 C's. Citrus. Cream of coconut. I'm making a cocktail that's got 7 ingredients that start with C. So I'm calling it the 7 C's. Ha! Puns! I love puns. I need the Mr. Black for the coffee, which is one of the C's. Where did I put that? Seriously, where did I put that? Is it still up here? Bloody hell. It's annoying when I don't remember where I... There it is. I don't remember where I put stuff. Abigail, you're right into the Optifast shakes. They're pretty good. I think they're really good. All right. I just haven't been having them lately out of pure laziness. So we've got coffee, cherry rum, cachaça, chai, cream of coconut, cinnamon. I was going to grind cinnamon over the top. I think that was it. Okay, so go the fuck away. So it could be cherry. What do I have? So I've got cachaça, cream of coconut, coffee, chai, cinnamon. I could say citrus. I'm sure I had another one. So I'm trying to count, 7 C's. It's cachaça, cherry rum, cream of coconut, chai, cinnamon. I can cheat and say citrus. I was sure I had a different other C though. Other people suggested to me Campari, Creme de Menthe, Calvados, or Cointreau. Well, I could do Curacao. Blue Curacao would be fun. Abigail, I still ate real food for dinner. Last night we made scrambled eggs with celery, apple, onion, tomato. Nice. Mrs. Angry made a soup today, which was really nice. And I had pasta that young Ms. Angry made. And then I had this grilled stuff on toast, chicken and veggie conglomeration on grilled on toast. So, all right, I need a cinnamon stick if I'm going to... Cinnamon stick and a grinder to do it on. Little thing to grind the cinnamon over the top. I think maybe doing this. Go whole hog. Don't think I'll bother crushing the ice, actually. I think I'll just put small things of ice in here. Celtic, yes, various family members are good at cooking various things. The young Angries will occasionally put quite a bit of effort into cooking something. Mrs. Angry makes great food. I can cook, so between us, there's always stuff happening. Right, so... Okay. But this is just... I'm going to use up the cachaça. I'm going to have to get another bottle of cachaça. Time for a visit to Dan's. And I don't have my jigger. Got to get my jigger. So just take a second. All right. Where my jigger's at. I'll just rinse that. All right. All righty. Oh, in fact, I'm not going to bother making this over ice now. That's just for presentation. Not that you all aren't worth special presentation for. I'm just going to see if this actually tastes any good. I'm putting a couple things back. All right. So, we got to put some ice in here. Ice, baby. So I'm going to put in 1.5 ounces of this. Yep, I'm definitely going to have to go and get more cachaça. Right, actually, I'm going to put in 2 ounces of cream of coconut. Just to make this really over the top. Also to use up the cream of... No, I'm going to put 1.5 ounces. That's like a lot. 1.5 ounces of cream of coconut. That might be too much. It might make the drink too sweet. Okay. 3/4 of an ounce of Mr. Black. Coffee, coffee, coffee. All right. That in there. 1/2 ounce of cherry rum. Half an ounce of chai syrup. Man, that's a good. Wow, that's a good syrup. Initially, it just tastes sweet, and then you get all the chai notes in it. So often, nothing happened today. Well, New South Wales looks like they got a new premier who's a fucking nightmare, but 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. This probably should have some bitters in it, actually. Creole bitters. I'm just fucking making this up now. All right. Oh, now I'm just going to put it in this same glass, rinse it out. Oh my God, that's just pure salt. All right, that's rinsed it. Me just avoiding like snot. Put the bottom of this now. Now, I'll turn the microphone off while I blend this because it's probably just a horrible noise. So I'll just turn the mic off for a second. All right, that's probably enough blending. A little smoothie now. It's practically health food. Pour it into a glass. Yep, it's a lot of volume. My smoothie. Tell you what's really good. Ooh, the coffee's still there. Oh, man, that's got a lot of flavors going on. Yep, that's actually pretty good. That is actually probably good. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I was going to garnish it with a cherry. That would be another C, garnished with a cherry. And I'm going to do that now, just because I can. Because I freaking love these Luxardo cherries. So I'm just going to do that. See you, Celtic. Yeah, Luke, I think a blender's not quite ASMR. It's too aggressive a noise. Just trying to randomly... I got one. Trying to randomly stab a cherry. But they all move around because they're not so tightly packed anymore. So put the cherry there for now. There. So that's 7 Cs. I almost think I should put curacao in it just to make it blue. I should do that. Wait a sec. Watch angry, make a mess. So take my cherry out. Put that there. Pour it back in. Oh, it's already separating. That's interesting. Which is not that surprising because there's stuff to make the cream of coconut curdle. I need to put less cream of coconut. Where's my blue curacao? Where is my blue? Oh, there, staring me in the face again. So if I put half an ounce of blue curacao in, half an ounce of blue curacao. Blend that mofo. Is it? You see if that makes it a C color or if it's just gross. Ooh, it might just be gross. I was being nice to you again. Just turn the microphone off while I blended that. No, it didn't really make it go blue. I did a bit. I don't know. That might be a bridge too far, trying to make it go blue. That's actually not bad. I think I can do something with that. So if you're saying I saw the New South Wales Transport Minister quit. I didn't know it was to go federal. That's interesting. Luke, they were talking about trackless trams for Melbourne. Yeah, I did see people bring that up, but, you know, there's talk and then there's doing stuff. The spending the money on a completely different tram system is not a particularly great idea. So, Safa, you're saying that's like a viridian color. All right. Looks a bit murky to me. I don't think I'll do the blue curacao. It actually tastes pretty good, though. Maybe it should have curacao in it, actually. Not blue curacao, because it's made it go a weird color. Maybe less cream of coconut, half an ounce of curacao. Yep, I think so. If I went cachaça, curacao, cherry rum, coffee liqueur, cream of coconut, chai, and topped it with a cherry, garnished it with a cherry, 7 C's, because I like stupid puns. It's a play on words. It's not a pun. It's a play on words. Well, I don't know. It's an interesting distinction there. It's definitely a play on words. Is it a pun? I think it is, because I'm saying one thing that sounds like another. I mean, the letter C and 7 of the letter C sounds like I'm talking about the 7 C's. I think that qualifies as a pun. Not completely sure, though. But, Justin, you say they're building a tram network in Canberra. No, I like our trams. Ooh, no, I'm definitely not going to use blue curacao. That is an ugly and murky color. Ugly, murky color. It would be better without that, I think. But I've got orange curacao, so, which is almost colorless. It's a very sweet drink. It's a very good dessert drink. And it's actually got a bit of depth and complexity. The coffee comes through quite late, cutting the sugariness. And if I make the next one with a bit less cream of coconut, it won't be as sweet anyway. I'm just counting them again. Maybe Curacao is too much. If I go, let's see, coffee liqueur, cherry rum, cachaça, cream of coconut, chai, and garnish of cherry and cinnamon. It'd be less sweet. That's probably better. Oh God, I forgot I put Creole bitters in here as well. I think I'll put the tiki bitters in it when I make it. Justin, don't get why we aren't buying our trams to Victoria when they keep in May instead buying from Spain. Justin, that's politics, derm politics. I know one of the trams brought out in the last 10 years was, I think, designed and made in Melbourne. And then some idiot prior to that got some from Europe that turned out to be really unsuited to Melbourne. Who fucking knew? But who knows, why they make decisions in government. Friggin' ugh. Why people make decisions in government. It's ridiculous. So if you're saying New South Wales is getting a new XPT from Spain also. I mean, maybe the stuff from Spain's just that much better. I don't know. I absolutely have not looked into it. Luke, the E-Class were built in Melbourne. There you go. Good to know. The E-Class were built in Melbourne. I knew there was some trams that were built in Melbourne. But yeah, the ones prior to the E-Class, which they got somewhere from Europe, were fucking ridiculous. So I've seen that new XPT is due in 2023. Interesting. The fact we don't have reliable high-speed rail between Sydney and Melbourne is ridiculous. Like the Sydney-Melbourne train route is one of the most heavily the Sydney-Melbourne plane route is one of the most heavily trafficked plane routes in the world. We need high-speed rail. XPT doesn't count as high speed. That's not bad. I think I can do a couple tweaks to make it even better. And I'll enter this into the Mr. Black competition too. I love a play on words, so being able to call it the Seven Seas. Although I don't know fully what to call it. Do I call it Mr. Black Sails the Seven Seas or just call it the Seven Seas? Maybe I should suck up to the sponsor of the competition, Mr. Black, and call it Mr. Black Sails the Seven Seas. So if you're saying, when does the XPT ever actually reach 130 kilometers an hour? Very limited stretches. I've seen those fascinating videos from Japan with the bullet trains. Also, people say, like, if you want a really trippy experience when you're on a bullet train, there's certain points where one going in the opposite direction will pass you on the next tracks, and it's quite close. And apparently the experience of resting your head on the window and sort of looking straight ahead as close as this, it only takes like a second for the other train to pass you because you're both going so fast in opposite directions. And apparently it's just really trippy to have your head resting on the window and just sort of go woof. So I hear. I've never done it myself, but I have heard. Justin saying the US Postal Service has suspended deliveries to Australia. I hadn't heard that, but hey, there you go. I did hear the US Postal Service was downgrading their services, or the political forces there trying to destroy the US Postal Service. Fair bit of pressure on Australia Post too, for that matter. Reasonably happy with this drink, actually. Do another drink. Probably won't make the video till Friday, actually. Here's me getting ahead of time, because this isn't going live on my YouTube channel for 2 weeks. I just wanted to experiment with the recipe, and I think I've got it. I think I've got the recipe, and I will make this and submit it to the Mr. Black competition. Hellion, hello, Kirsten. Nice to see you. So I was current long distance trains, 40 years old, always breaking summer. When I were a lad, I did the trip between Dubbo and Sydney on the Red Rattlers, the really old diesel trains, particularly the overnight mail train between Sydney and Dubbo. And that was a long trip because that was not a fast train. And that was a real experience traveling on the old Red Rattler. Anyway. I agree, Luke. Safa sounds like quite the transport enthusiast. It's just, but that's cool. We all nerd out about different things. And I'm going to stop drinking alcohol now because I'm feeling, was it 8:42, and I'm feeling mildly smashed. And I'll just, because it's a Sunday night and I got work tomorrow, I'll just keep it at mildly smashed rather than go further. As tempting as it is to make an old-fashioned with this chai syrup, because this is just fucking made for old-fashions, quite honestly. With a whiskey. Also, probably work well with rum too, for that matter. A rum old-fashioned with that. Mildly tempting to make it with one of the many rums I have. All right, I think I'm going to make that in my tiki goblet, fill it with crushed ice, and pour that over the top. And I think, yeah, I've got a winner. Now I've worked out how to cheat and have so many more than 7 C's in the ingredients. I'll probably actually tone it down a bit from what I did tonight. But I think if I do cherry and cinnamon as garnishes, that will work. And I won't use the pick. I will just drop a cherry in the middle of the drink. Safia, Grandpa built the Trans-Siberian Railway in Siberia. Grandpa and Dad. Oh, that's cool. Sounds like hard work. You just say, as soon as you start saying in the Soviet era, building the Trans-Siberian Railway in Siberia, sounds like very hard work. Punishment almost, but there's a little bit of history, certainly. All right. Cherry time. Man, I love those maraschino cherries, the Luxardo cherries. I'm sure they're very bad for me. I'm quite sure they're very bad for me. I'll just put that out of the way so I don't knock it over and break it. I am tempted to make an old-fashioned. A rum old-fashioned, which I haven't done, with that chai and some bitters. So they have massive hands from building it. That sounds weird. You're saying their hands grew from... I mean, I could imagine you getting real fucking strong. I can imagine you getting real fucking strong from building a railway. That sounds like a very real thing. All right, I'm gonna put some things away. The old McDonald's clean as you go principle. Put that back. Put that back. Put this back. Oh, look, another soon-to-be empty bottle. Another excuse to go to a bottle shop again. Get some cachaça. Speaking of C's, I might get some Calvin. Okay, I'm going to go off. I'm going to rinse this while it's easy to rinse. So my apologies. I'm just going to be off camera for 30 to 60 seconds while I do it. I'll keep talking. Just trying to make my life a bit easier. Rinsing this while it's still easy to rinse. That's what I want. Okay, come on. Let's shake your booty. Alrighty. And that can go back in the fridge, and that can go back in the fridge. And alrighty. I think I'm going to get this. Oh. And a big bit of ice from my big ice tray. That's only my semi-big ice tray. Ooh, down to the last cube. Okay. I'll have to fill this up after the stream. My very big ice tray. Put a very big ice cube in there. And I think this rum. Oof, speaking of rinsing, sorry, I need to rinse this jigger. It's got cream of coconut in it. It's flagging it all up. I need to wipe it a little bit so this stuff doesn't get stuck to it and then rot and make my jigger gross. Right, that's that. Alrighty. Chilling like a villain. Hey Stella, how are you? Another long time no see gang. What's that one? Abigail, how do we get onto a troop train? Yeah, grandfather helped build the train line from Melbourne to Darwin. His brother was building a train line over the River Kwai. Ooh, yeah, that's a sore point. World War II, the bridge on the River Kwai. Okay, so Florida Cana, 12-year-old. Just going to build this in the glass. Actually, I will do, because I'm just going to do a little bit of this chai syrup I made. You're getting all this cork ASMR, which I'm personally quite a fan of. Just a little bit of that syrup. Don't want a lot. Then we go a bit of rum. Mix that in. And then some tiki. It is a fancy looking bottle, isn't it, Safa? It's like, it's not your usual bottle. Florida Cana have very distinctive bottles. Ooh, Stella, you've been tree planting. Nice. Do some tiki bitters, get some island spice flavors going in here. And I'm going to have another cherry just because I can. Ugh. Luke, hey, it's Saturday, coming back for 1 night special. Shit I don't care about. It's like pathetic fucking has-beens. No one cares about. Like, and of course, Daryl Summers just had to do the standard fucking boomer bullshit of, oh, we'd be cancelled if we were around today. Would you, Daryl? Would you? Why would that happen, Daryl? Why would people say you shouldn't be on air? Is it because of the constant racism, homophobia, and sexism that happened in the show? Would it be that? Would a modern audience say, hey, I don't want a show on TV that is just saturated with racism, homophobia, and sexism? Is that a bad thing, is it, Daryl? That people today don't want to put up with that sort of bigotry? Fuck you, you fucking pathetic boomer has-been fuck. All right. Rum old-fashioned. Yeah, that's the shit. Luke, yes, blackface comes under racism. Oh no, Kirsten, day 3 is the day that house anxiety happens. Is this the unpacking? Has been an anxious day? Oof, I don't envy you. If you had stuff that's been in storage for a year and now you've suddenly got to do something with it, damn. Yeah, Abigail, I was assuming Stella meant she planted a tree after June Club. So Stella, you've done 10 shrubs and trees. Yeah, no, that's a friggin' achievement. That is a great effort. That is a truly great effort. Proud of you. 10 shrubs and trees. That's a nice effort. Abigail, no, apparently Daryl Summers did not learn the last time he tried to reboot Hey Hey. Nobody gives a shit. Oh God, Kirsten, your house is a mess. You feel overwhelmed. That is a normal feeling. You got to do it the one bite at a time thing. Just it's not your imagination at a moment. It's overwhelming. You need enough distance from it. And I hope, maybe getting some sleep or stuff give you a bit of distance to know, like, yeah, it is. It's huge. It's overwhelming. It's fucking bullshit. And you just need to go, like, I'm just going to do it a piece at a time. And each tiny piece gets you closer to the end. Like thinking about the whole thing and I have to finish the whole thing is always going to be overwhelming. It's normal to feel overwhelmed. So just like do one piece at a time. Safa, incorrect. Daylight saving was last night. We went 1 hour forward this morning. They don't do it on a work night. That's too cruel. Daylight saving always happens on a weekend. Doing it on a work night would be too cruel. Asterisk, completely understand some people for who Sunday is a normal work day. I'm speaking of the Monday to Friday crowd, which is like 90% of the population. Interesting. Stella, after June Club, you did a loquat. A rescue loquat is big and heavy. Good job. Man, that's fucking great. I'm glad I did that. It's a really nice drink. Old-fashioned, people. Spirit, sugar, bitters. So simple, and yet almost always a good drink. Some people assert that an old-fashioned is only whiskey, sugar, and bitters. And if you order an old-fashioned in a bar, 99% of the time, unless they ask you, they'll just make one with whiskey. But technically, an old-fashioned is any spirit with sugar and bitters. Kirsten, I'm just trying to be encouraging. I'm not. The one thing I want to say is your feeling of being overwhelmed is real and understandable. I'm just hoping that maybe you've had this anxiety day, you get some sleep tonight, and then you can get back into it. Just addressing. Just do it one thing at a time. Here is not look at the whole thing, because the whole thing is horrifying and will never end. But if you look at one thing, like there's one thing. There's one thing, I can do that one thing's done. Well, look, there's one more thing. And you don't, and because if you look and go, that's tiny. There's a mountain and I'm moving a pebble and I'm feeling like that. And it is an accomplishment. Oh shit, Micro, why are we live now? Daylight saving happened. It's all an hour different now. So sorry to you, my North American friend. But it's all different now. You're extremely close to quitting your job. Came to absolutely nothing done. Had to double the workload. Yep, that sucks. I know it's like when you're doing shift stuff and people in the previous shift fuck up on you. Oh no, now micro USB is traumatized by us having daylight saving. Summer here, brother. It's spring, moving into summer. So yeah, sorry. Permanently an hour earlier with the streams now. So because time's a construct, and the way we frame that construct arbitrarily changes according to time of year and physical location. Yeah, sorry, dude. We'll always have Friday nights, man. Friday nights is when I'm on all night. And every second Saturday is like a late one. But yes, no, I get if that means that time shift makes it that much harder for you to join. But then, there's always Friday nights. There's always Friday nights. Just fucking go all fucking night on Friday nights. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, I'm glad I made that. This is a really good choice. Dan Murphy's were perpetually advertising this one as on special and then saying it wasn't in stock. And they were like, it was like a $20 off special. And I was always getting the shits because I thought that sounds good. And they keep advertising it and then saying it's not in stock, and I fucking hate them. And then one day I went to the store and it was there and it was on special and I got it, and it's actually pretty good. So yeah. Marco, you hate daylight saving. We had this discussion earlier. I like daylight saving. I like that there's 1 hour more sunshine in summer. Fucking enjoy it. The idea of it not being dark until 4 hours after I finish work is great. Yeah, and Stella, just over in WA, yeah, it means you're going to miss first half of a lot of the streams. That's true. But the fun thing, Stella, is as we get into summer and it's light later, we might get to see some of the tours you show us again. Because I always enjoy it when that happens, when it's still daylight over in your part of the world when we're doing a stream, and you can like show us mining bits or something. I think that's freaking awesome. Look forward to that. Dairy Steals Babies, hello. Speaking of shift work, how many Bunnings employees does it take to change a light bulb? I'll let you know when they've changed the bulb. That sounds like a personal experience thing. Oh, yes, Greg, that's another excellent tip. Daylight savings, great for rooftop bar drinking. Yes. And by about December, when we'll be able to do that, for us who are in Melbourne, we should friggin' organize a rooftop bar drinking night on a Friday or Saturday. Because that would be cool. Man, I'm really fucking enjoying this drink. I love it when I make a drink and I really enjoy it. Marco, I found a funny 20-second video. I wanted to share your opinions. No, dude, I'll probably get a copyright strike. It's as simple as that. The YouTube algorithm is so aggressive. I cannot afford to share stuff from outside sources because if I get copyright strikes, I can't live stream. So I really can't afford it. Done some things before that seemed tiny and seemed like the women thing, and I didn't get a copyright strike, but I got a copyright claim. It's very close cousin, and that didn't affect my status, but showing stuff on the stream that's not me is very high risk. So Stella, you're working on the other side of the Salt Lake now, so you drive across it every day and maybe get enough signal can stream the drive. That would be cool. Micro, I get what you're saying about fair use and fair dealing and whatnot with my face in the video. I'm telling you, I've done that with stuff before that I thought would be completely safe. And YouTube's content recognition went, that's something someone else owns. And I didn't get a copyright strike, but I got a copyright claim. And that's the close cousin of a copyright strike. I just can't afford to do it because, like I said, if I get copyright strikes, I can't do live streams. So I just can't afford to do it. Abigail, you're a night owl. More than that, your brain seems to wake up when the sun goes down, get sleep when the sun comes up. That you're a vampire. That's the thing. But Marco, YouTube's weird about a whole fucking bunch of things, quite honestly. It's weird and inconsistent, but also YouTube, it's not YouTube's decision. YouTube would love to let us all play copyright material all the time and have some sort of licensing thing. But friggin' various old media companies are jealous, soulless fucks who desperately want to get some of Google's money, and they keep launching lawsuits and threatening lawsuits. YouTube, if they were left totally alone, they would love for us all to be sharing copyright stuff and have some sort of licensing thing happen, but they can't really afford to because they're under constant threat of live stream. Marco, you're having anything with states offering prizes as an incentive to get vaccine. There was a thing that came out in the media here today that apparently some philanthropists and organizations have got together. There's going to be a $1 million lottery in Australia for vaccinated people. I haven't heard the details yet, but apparently it's going to happen that you're going to be able to register for this lottery if you're fully vaccinated, and there's a $1 million prize, which I think is a friggin' excellent thing. So, Mark, you're saying some prizes are the 2 custom shotguns and 2 hunting rifles. Oh, that was the video. It was a video about a vaccination lottery to win guns. Nice. Some states are offering cash. Yeah, so apparently we're going to have one in Australia, $1 million lottery if you're vaccinated. So, pew, pew, yeehaw. I'll be in that. I saw a very reassuring graph today an Australian medical dude shared on Twitter. And it showed, it's like, an XY graph in all these different countries. And Y was the total number of vaccinations, and the X was the rate of vaccination. And all these other countries, they reached a particular point, and then the rate of vaccination dropped right off. And Australia has got way past that. Micro, going back to work. I hope you have a good day. I assume it's day for you, man. But thanks for dropping by. Yeah, so this graph was really reassuring because there was a whole bunch of other countries that were all on a similar trajectory with a rate of vaccination. And all these other countries, when they hit around 60% vaccinated, the rate of vaccination dropped off really sharply. But Australia is still going up. Like, Australia's not showing. We're probably, by the end of the year, going to have higher than 90% of the population double vaccinated, which is friggin' awesome. Because like I said, I was looking at that map of the US. So many places only 40 to 60% vaccinated, and the rate of vaccination has dropped right off, and they might not get much higher than that, which means people are just going to fucking keep dying, and the health system is going to keep fucking crashing, and we might be spared the worst of that, which would just be friggin' awesome. Luke, you getting second on the 21st? Nice. I think my offspring are going to get their second in 2 or 3 weeks. They initially, because they got AstraZeneca, initially booked 12 weeks ahead, which wouldn't be till like November. But shit being what it is now, it's like, yeah, move it forward, and they'll probably get it done in 2 or 3 weeks. Oh no, Heidi, bought tasty Chinese food and got home and you're not hungry. Oh no. Oh, that sucks. I don't know if it's something that can reheat. But nice. Mega Leech getting your second on Wednesday. Man, I had my second, like, I don't know, 2 months ago. Time is meaningless. And I had AstraZeneca, so there was 12-week gap between the 2 vaccinations. Kirsten getting second 2 weeks. Nice. Safa your sister's getting second Pfizer on the 9th. Brilliant. This is the thing, like, by the end of the year, it looks like Australia is going to be 90% vaccinated, which is fucking great, honestly. because we're not going to be able to get rid of COVID. It's going to keep circulating, but the overwhelming evidence is being vaccinated really significantly reduces your chance of getting infected. Depending which study you believe, somewhere between 50 and 70, you're somewhere between 50 and 75% protected from even getting infected. But the available evidence is the risk of serious illness, where you need hospitalization, is just radically reduced, and the risk of death is reduced not to zero, but way, way, way low. Kirsten, I can understand if your mother-in-law is refusing. That's another source of anxiety. Matt, I know there's a general recommendation of consider getting your second AstraZeneca after 6 weeks. And I think my offspring had it about 4 weeks ago. So they're going to have the second one in 2 or 3 weeks. Basically, my lad spends 2 weeks at his mum's and 2 weeks here, and he's just gone back to his mum's today. And so they colluded between them. They'll get the second one when he's back. So it's like in 2 or 3 weeks. So that for them, that will be 7 weeks. I think it'll end up being 7 weeks between their first and second dose. I had the full 12 weeks between mine, because we had no fucking cases then. But thanks to Gladys and the New South Wales government, it's all fucked now. Lorraine, the problem is you'll hit a top. You don't know what the number you want vaccination. Won't be knowing is a large portion of children don't vaccinate. Oh, no, Lorianda, Australia's different everywhere. And okay, to be fair, I was talking about the people that we've declared vaccines as safe for. Currently, that's 12 and up. So I to be clear, I was talking about 12 and ups. We are moving towards nominating when 5 and up should get a vaccine and which one they should get. So yeah, no, you raise a good point about the younger folk. But yeah, currently we've mandated for 12 and up to get the vaccine. So that number I was talking about was for 12 and up. And I think there's currently planning underway to nominate which vaccine 5 and up should get and when they should get it. So yeah, that is a good point to be clear on. Safa, difficult to spend time with your dad on the other side of the world. Yeah, well, Australia's talking about making travel free to vaccinated people in December. So, which I think is going to be well dodgy, but hey, you know, there we go. We'll see what happens. Every other fucking decision conservative governments have made about opening things up has been a fucking disaster. So yeah. So Lorena, you're at about 80%. Slowed down. It's the entire population. Get around maybe 10% children, 10% don't wish vaccination. Yeah. Australia has a much lower level of resistance to vaccination than many other places around the world. So we're doing quite well. We're starting to ramp up, and the whole thing was delayed and fucked up by the federal government, but now it's going along quite well. But we'll see. I mean, you know, the world is so volatile. Anyone who thinks they can predict the future is full of shit. So yes, if I ever say something about, oh, no, it looks like X is going to happen in the future, I do that with a massive caveat. You got to like put a big asterisk next to it and go, unless something fucking weird happens. And the world for the last, 6 years has been nonstop weird, unpredictable shit happening. So it's very volatile. The world is very volatile at the moment. So Luke, you think you might get a trip in Victoria next year? See friends in Milton? You might. I mean, within Australia, it's certainly going to be reasonably free travel by November, December, I think. Again, any shit could happen between now and December, but probably it's going to be reasonably free travel by November, December. Still, I've been reading studies, peer review kind. Vaccinating kids isn't going to change transmission rates, so no real need to stress about it. Maybe, yeah. There are still a lot of unknowns about COVID. We've learned a lot in the last 18 months, but there's still a lot of unknowns. Second cherry of the evening. Ooh, yeah. This is now a rum-soaked cherry. Man, I friggin' love those cherries. Yeah, I should drink some water now. That seems like a reasonable, rational, and responsible thing to do. That's the 3 R's for me. Not reading, writing, and arithmetic. It's reasonable, rational, and responsible. I don't know if anyone follows me on the socials, but I did see this funny thing today. Like, we've been talking, this has come up in the chat repeatedly over the last couple of weeks, a joke billboard that purports to be from a funeral home saying, "Don't get vaccinated, then we'll see you soon." You know, the joke that a funeral home doesn't want you to get vaccinated, so you'll die and they get more business. I actually saw that posted today by an absolute fuckhead anti-vaxxer go, "Oh, see, these guys know what they're talking about." It's like, how fucking stupid are you? It's like an anti-vaxxer who's so fucking stupid that they don't get a funeral home saying don't get vaccinated is because they want you to die so they get business. It's like anti-vaxxers are so fucking stupid, honestly. Okay, Safi, you don't want your passport to expire because they're such a pain in the ass to get a new one if you let it expire. It's way easier to renew a passport you aren't using than it is to get a new one because your old one expired. So, Lorena, you've been offered a booster of mRNA. Pisses you off because you got Johnson & Johnson. Don't think it's good. The whole reason J&J didn't want mRNA. Health Organization don't recommend cross-vaccination. 2 doses. Okay. It's complicated. Yeah, once we get to booster shots, that's a whole different thing. And because your vaccination happened way earlier than significant vaccinations happened in Australia, God, I don't know that we've even got to considering who would get boosters and when. I mean, certainly next year, I take it as a given that I'll get at least one booster next year, same as I get flu vaccine every year. So I'd taken it as a given that I would get at least one booster next year. We'll see. Heine, you got a passport prior to initial lockdowns. 10 years should see you out. Okay, so yeah, so Lorianda, where you are, elders have already got the booster for 3 vaccinations. Okay, here's a fun one with IDs. I elected 10 years ago to get a 10-year driver's license. You know, you can get driver's licenses for variable amounts when you renew. And 10 years ago, I decided to get a 10-year driver's license. And it just expired. And they sent me my renewal. And they said, like, normally you'd go in and get a new photo taken, but they just used the photo that they had on record, which is going to be my driver's license photo for another 10 years. So my driver's license, when I'm in my 60s, will be a photo that was taken in my 40s, which is fucking hilarious. I mean, you can't even really see it. But the photo that I'm showing people when someone says, "Show me your license," and I'll say, "This is me." The photo I will be showing people in my 60s will be a photo that was taken in my 40s. And again, in my 40s, I was coloring my hair. I mean, 18 months ago, I was coloring my hair. I just decided to stop. So, in another 5 years, where I don't know, maybe I still won't be coloring my hair in 5 years, I'm going to look really different. And also, my hair was really short in that, and I've let it grow over the last 18 months. Miguel, you had a 5-year license, changed how much people doubted it was you. Had to show an all sorts of. But again, like for reals, my official ID, my state driver's license, was a photo that was taken 10 years ago, and it's going to be my official ID for another 10 years, which is ridiculous. Matt, when did I start going grey? I probably started going grey in my 30s, but I've been colouring my hair since my 20s. My natural hair colour when I was young was very dark brown to the point of being... people said I had black hair. It was, in reality, it was very dark brown, but people said I had black hair. But in my late 20s, I started dyeing it like blue-black just for fun. And I kept that up through my 30s and 40s. In my 40s, I made it a bit more subtle with dyeing it brown rather than blue-black. But yeah, it's ridiculous. And would I colour my hair again, Celtic? Maybe. It depends if I have to go back into the job market, because I think ageism is a thing in the job market. And I don't put my age on my CV. I just put my work experience. I put about 20 years of work experience on it. If I have to go in the job market, my current contract runs till the end of the year. I wouldn't mind staying where I am. I'd even consider a permanent role, but who fucking knows what's going to happen at the end of the year. If I have to go back into the job market, I might colour my hair then. Get a light brown, try and make it look natural. Maybe even blonde. Maybe I should go blonde. Yeah, who knows? But I probably at this point, the only thing that would make me color my hair is if I had to go back into the job market and I was worried about ageism. Still, you got WA license reissue when you came back from Tassie. 26, had beautiful naturally curly hair. Oh no. Time. Safo, you think we should have a federal driving scheme? I mean, yeah, probably. The fact that rules are different between states is pretty stupid. I'm just going to drink some water because that seems like a smart thing to do. Alrighty. Drinking water because I'm responsible. There were a couple bits of my gum that are still sensitive from I went to the dentist the other day. Wednesday or Thursday I went to the dentist, and they did all this gouging on my gums because there's gross gum disease and they needed to cut it all out so my gums would heal. And there were 2 points in particular, one at the front and one at the back, where the dentist, I don't know if she's a dentist or if she has a different title, but she did like surgical stuff, and she's like, yeah, she really friggin' gouged some stuff out of 2 points. And she was happy because she says she got it all, but it's still a bit sensitive with cold things. Celtic King, no, I've never studied with Jehovah's Witnesses. The only religious indoctrination I've had is my Catholic education. Lorianda, your girlfriend got Pfizer, had to wait 6 weeks. After 3 weeks, they said she'd get it at extra. When she came in, they said, oh, we don't have enough. Get Moderna. Got sick for the second one. But I'll see, that's the thing. Different vaccines, I had side effects from my first AstraZeneca. Just for the first night, I was like, ugh. But apparently with some of them, and I think that's Moderna and Pfizer, you're more likely to feel a bit after the second one. I didn't feel anything after the second AstraZeneca, but I felt a bit after the first one. And there's a huge variation person to person. It's not consistent. So if I lost demerit points, yeah, I've lost demerit points for speeding. I've been caught by speed cameras multiple times over the years. Never enough to lose my license, but I've definitely had demerit points for speed cameras, possibly red light cameras, but definitely. It's never been huge. It's been 10 kilometers over the limit or something. It's never been like 40 kilometers over the limit or anything. But yes. Oh, nice, Kirsten. You move some things around and feel better. That's good. You got to do some stuff and just celebrate. I did some stuff. Yay. Because, yeah, you can't just be. And I say this as someone like when I'm doing my day job, doing IT projects, when I start a project, I put all this pressure on myself that I should know everything and I should be planned for the entire thing. And you can't be. You have to do it a piece at a time. So I'm constantly at war with myself because I'm just thinking like, I should know this. I should know everything. I should have everything sorted out. I should know everything. And then I just have to sort of keep sort of psychologically slapping myself about going, no, you can't know everything yet. You've got to take this a little bite at a time. So was that stuff they changed? No more speed cameras telling you they exist in New South Wales, same as Vic, get more money into Treasury. Well, here's the thing. If you think speed cameras are just revenue raising and they're bastards for putting speed cameras about because it's just revenue raising, you can stick it to the man. You can stick it to the man and make sure they don't get any money out of you by never speeding. Simple as that. If you think speed cameras are revenue raising, you can get the ultimate revenge against the authorities and never give them any money. All you have to do is never speed. So, yeah, that's the thing. If you want to stick it to the man, don't speed. Sorry, I just remembered something. Years ago, I was working for an insurance company, and we were talking about these sorts of things. How if someone gets speeding tickets or red light cameras, their insurance can go up, and what the various risks are. And one of my coworkers, she goes, I don't speed. I've never had a speeding ticket. I've never sort of been the cause of an accident. And we're going to go to you and go, the only bad thing that ever happened is when a car fell out of the sky and hit me. And we're like, yeah, that makes it sound like you were drink driving. You're saying you've never drink drive, you don't speed and whatnot, but one time a car fell out of the sky and hit you, that makes it sound like you're a drinker. And then she explained it, what actually happened, and this sounds absolutely fucking horrific. There's this dual carriageway in Sydney, and it's separated by quite a bit of and there was a hill, so you couldn't even really see the traffic going in the other direction for a particular stretcher. And what happened is apparently, I don't know, these foolish young women who were driving beyond both their own capabilities and the capabilities of the car they were on. They were speeding and whatnot, and they lost control. Didn't even hit anyone else, just lost control and went spinning out of control across the road. And they hit this little hill that was between the two dual carriageways and got airborne. And my co-worker who was driving this way, they were on the other dual carriageway and they hit this thing and then it got airborne and they came down right on her. They just did a really glancing impact on her car, which was just astoundingly lucky. But yeah, they got airborne, came down, did glancing impact on her car. She didn't get injured. It fucked up her car though. But apparently, I think there were like 3 or 4 women in this other car, and there were 2 fatalities in it because they got airborne and went smash, landed on the roof, bang, 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 and it was just like fucking horrific. But yeah, we initially were making a joke of it when she said, "Oh, I've never been done drink driving or speeding, but a car did fall out of the sky once." And we went, "Yeah, no, that makes you sound drunk." Loranda, yes, never be speeding. Reason cameras are there because people can't follow traffic rules. Blame the speeders and not the government. They want to keep people safe. Yeah, it is. It's the ultimate revenge. If you think speed cameras are a revenue-raising exercise, stick it to the man by not speeding. Yes, Stella, I think she probably had the brown undies after that. The thing, she didn't really lose control. She was really lucky. It was only a glancing impact on her car. It just skidded out, didn't hit anyone else. But yeah, no, what happened to the other car was fucked. Orangutan on Twitch, what year is it? Time is a construct. It is both 1980, 2021, and at the same time, 1990 was 5 years ago and 30 years ago. And it's also 2021 and 2020 was both 18 months, 5 minutes, and 100 years ago. So time is a meaningless construct. So for what year did that crash happen in? Oh, God, that was like early 90s. That's how old I am, early 90s. Justin, speed cameras should be used in high-risk area for accidents where speed is a factor. No, speed cameras should be anywhere and everywhere because speed is always a risk factor. Always. Yes, that's a good way to put it, Kirsten. Your mum calls speeding tickets avoidable taxation. So, yes, speed is always a risk factor because it always reduces your ability to respond to unexpected circumstances. So, yes, I do not. Although apparently speed cameras are expensive, otherwise they would be everywhere. So they tend to only be put in areas where people speed all the time. Safa, from my memory, and my memory is hazy, there were at least 2 fatalities in the other car because the fucking thing got airborne. And I think they were going like 160 kilometers an hour or more. And they hit this embankment and just got airborne, flipped through the air and just crashed and rolled. And it was just fucked. Yeah, Lorianda, it's a simple thing. If you have a problem with speed cameras, it's only because you speed. Now, if we had purpose-built roads that were designed to let competent drivers drive at higher speeds without danger, like the autobahns in Germany, that's a different thing. Yes, Abigail, I think that sounds like that might have been what happened to Raymond. Raymond might have been driving that car, but yeah. Celtic King, dash cam cameras. Oh man, dash cam videos, particularly Russia. Russia is the king of wild, unpredictable dash cam videos. Orangutan, you raise a good point. Speed is a construct. By extension of the axiom, time is a construct. You are absolutely correct. Also, the state is a construct. And so, therefore, the construct of the state can impose limitations on the construct of speed and risk. Risk is a construct. So, yeah, but it's just that one construct can place arbitrary rules on other constructs. Justin, what do you say about roads where there are accidents and no speed cameras? The only thing I can guess, and I've never really looked into it, is that speed cameras are really expensive and red light cameras. Otherwise, they'd be literally fucking everywhere. So all I can assume is speed cameras are actually quite expensive. I've not looked into that. I've not validated that. I've just gone with, well, speed cameras aren't everywhere. Red light cameras aren't on every traffic light. That suggests to me they're very expensive. So, yeah. Yeah, Abigail, kinetic energy is not a construct. Maybe not. Yes. Who knows if our brain constructs the what is it when potential energy, kinetic energy? What would be the proper scientific term, Abigail, for the consequence of two objects in motion coming into impact with each other? Is that potential energy turning into kinetic energy? Oh, that's an interesting observation, Kirsten. The camera's not expensive. The human photo analysts are expensive. I could see that being the thing, actually. There's a limited amount of data that human analysts can process. I can see that being a thing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Humans, eh? Humans. What are they going to do? So, Megaleesh, you're saying an impact is a release of kinetic energy? I vaguely remember this shit from science in high school. So I'm just looking at a message in June Club and responding about a midweek catch up. All right. So, Loranda, as soon as we don't need a human factor to view speed cameras, we have an AI that collects data. Yeah, AI is only as good as the people who program it. Heidi Ho Nettie, by the way. I love that, Megaleech. An impact is conversion of potential energy into pain. That sums it up. Question: your brother-in-law works for a government road department, gets paid very well to watch cameras. I did work for Vic Roads for a while, but I wasn't watching cameras. Yeah, I imagine the thing. So, Abigail, potential energy is a buildup of energy that hasn't been released. When you're traveling at speed, you have kinetic energy. Upon impact, kinetic energy transfers into unscheduled demolition energy. I love all that talk. Stella got a ticket last year. They've done photo enhancement on your face, so you can't even argue who's driving. I only asked to see photo evidence once. I got a speed. This was a long time ago. I got a, and I, by Christ, long time. I think like 20 years ago. I'm because I remember what vehicle it was in. It's when the Little Angries were little ones because they had like a people mover van. And I got this thing saying I had a speed camera and it said a road. And I don't even know what fucking road that is. And I said, okay, I got told I could ask to see the photo because that doesn't sound right. And they showed me a low res photo, but I instantly, I recognized my vehicle and B, recognized the road. I didn't know the name of the road, but as soon as I saw the picture, I went, oh, I was going to High Point. I know that road. Okay, I was speeding. Fair cop. Heine, okay, so using momentum is easier than using kinetic energy for analyzing crashes. Okay, kinetic energy does things like bend steel, reduces during the collision. Momentum's just momentum conserved and can, okay. This is what we love. Science talk. Friggin' science talk. Sorry, especially liberal. See, this is the thing, because I work in IT, and as soon as anyone who works in technology starts wanking off about how the algorithm will sort things, my instant reaction is do not trust that person. When someone talks about being able to solve it by the algorithm and artificial intelligence and machine learning, that person is blind to their own prejudices. And all that stuff algorithms, artificial intelligence, machine learning is all driven by human written code. And we have seen again and again and again and again and again the prejudices of the programmers, conscious or unconscious, finds its way into code, and the code has inherent biases. So never trust anyone who says the algorithm's not biased, it's just code. That just means their head is up their own ass and they are blind to their own prejudices, and they are blind to the fact that they program their own prejudices into code. This goes from really, like, the simplest version I've ever seen is, you know, when you get those hand dryers in public toilets, you put your hand under them and they turn on and whatnot. A whole bunch of them, they only worked with light skin. Like, black people would put their hands under these things and they wouldn't turn on because the white people who fucking programmed them never conceived of anyone apart from white people having an issue. It's fucking ridiculous. Justin, you're saying... No, so you're just repeating yourself, Justin, saying speed cameras should only be in places where you have a large amount of accidents. Speed cameras are valid literally anywhere they're put, because you should not be speeding, because speeding always increases the risk of accident, always increases the severity of accidents. So there is never any legitimate argument against speed cameras. If you think speed cameras are bad because you don't want to get fined, don't fucking speed. Full stop. There is no argument that counters that, okay? It's fucking that simple. The only people who argue against speed cameras in any context are people who fucking speed. No, Celtic, you can't trust the code. The code isn't something that exists in and of itself. Code is created by programmers. This is where the more someone says you should trust code or algorithms and says they're neutral, the less you should trust them. It's just ridiculous. And this is why the whole thing about artificial intelligence and the singularity and whatnot is it's the nerd equivalent of evangelical Christianity, because it involves magical thinking. I'm not saying it will never happen, because people far smarter than me think it will happen. I have a slight concern that they may be blinded to certain things, but everything I've read, and I've read a lot about the singularity and artificial intelligence and whatnot, and all of it involves some magical thinking. It's like the underpants gnomes on South Park. It's like, step 1, write code. Step 3, code becomes self-aware. Step 2, it's basically like human written code is inherently flawed, and all the talk about artificial intelligence and the singularity, like when computers get smarter than humans and when humans can upload their consciousness to the cloud and all that stuff, it just involves magical thinking. And it's a little bit creepy, the degree to which otherwise intelligent people indulge in magical thinking. That's a good point, Abigail. Stephen Hawking talking about fearing AIs like Richard Dawkins arguing about religion, not their field. Yeah. Jeremy, it's fine line will always be touchy. AI is the future. Our AI has many outcomes. 3 laws of robotics preserved, maybe we'll survive. The 3 laws of robotics, Asimov's principles, was good for science fiction, but in practical terms is stupid as hell. And it's been highlighted by multiple writers and philosophers why Asimov's 3 laws are just fundamentally fucking stupid. Yeah. Yes. Morgie, I like that one. People who speed and use their phones while driving make you rage. Yeah. Seeing people driving on their phones is not good. Not good. Okay, less worried about sentient AI than you are someone making an AI to endlessly make paperclips. I am more worried about not strictly speaking artificial intelligence, but I'm worried about automated systems coded by someone with inherent biases who aggressively asserts they don't have inherent biases and all their biases are written into the system, and then a really grossly biased system is inflicted on everyone with this ridiculous idea that it's not biased. It's bad. It's just bad. Like I said, I say that as a pro-technology person, as a person who works in IT. People who abandon the human element or think the human element isn't there in technology are leading us down a very dangerous path. So, Jeremy, if AI develops the point of Java's from Iron Man, you'd be extremely excited. Again, that's magical. That's magical thinking, though. The idea when we can, and this is a real thing, we cannot even define what human consciousness is. We cannot define what makes consciousness in a human. We don't know what it is. We just don't. So the idea that we can create an artificial consciousness when we can't even realistically define what human consciousness is inherently ridiculous. Although I did love, there was a thing recently saying scientists had created this thing at a cellular level using human brain tissue, and they'd put sensors on it that were like proto eyes. They were sensors on this brain tissue that could detect light and react to it. So it's like they had done this thing in a petri dish that was grown from human brain cells and had sensors that could react to external stimulus. And it was done as a meme. Someone labeled it just dropped horrific new level of imprisoned consciousness, because that is potentially true. That thing these scientists created, which was made from human brain tissue and had sensors that could react to external stimuli, that could have a consciousness. Those scientists could be torturing a conscious entity in a petri dish. Go humans is all I'm going to say. There you go. Justin, you think Chinese are playing with AI with their biases? Everyone's playing with AI. Everyone's trying to develop AI. Every attempt to develop AI currently is inherently flawed because of the shortcomings of humans. Like I said, when humans cannot even accurately define what human consciousness is, the idea that they could code a consciousness is ridiculous. Abigail, I agree with you. The Chinese are not intrinsically more biased than anyone else. The people who run the Chinese dictatorship have their own particular set of biases. But then again, the people who run every government around the world have their own biases. It just varies from country to country. Jeremy Hibble, is Google Assist a consciousness? No. Google Assist is not even vaguely close to a consciousness. It's a complex bit of programming. It's not even vaguely close to a consciousness. No one's, like I said, the intrinsic flaw with thinking humans will code an AI can be defined that humans cannot even define what human consciousness is, let alone artificial consciousness. And microwave bag, shitty watered down beer for all. Bringing American gifts such as chewing tobacco, guns, and shitty watered down beer. Nice. If is Heine saying Photoshop has AI-based functions, sky replacement subject. That's not AI. That is algorithmic enhancements. And some of the automated algorithmic enhancements that have been built into various bits of software, and that's visual effects software, audio software, even text-based stuff, is incredibly impressive. It's not AI though. It's algorithmically enhanced programming. And Justin, yes, I've heard of the social credit system in China. That's effectively the thing. If they determine you're behaving in an anti-social or counter-revolutionary way, certain services may be restricted to you or more expensive to you or cut off from you. Same as like if you go to a bottle shop 10 times a week, they may decide that probably means you're an alcoholic. So certain other restrictions may be placed on you. So, my Crispy, you never knew Bud Light was made with rice. Ew, who does that? Well, alcohol is grain-based, and rice is a grain. You get various alcohols that will be based on rice, wheat, barley, rye, potato. So that's all, the whole bunch of alcohols. And of course, a lot of beers are based on one of the primary elements is hops. They're all plants based, and plant and sugar and yeast. Stella, you want to argue with my definitive AI versus artificial consciousness? But you're doing the dishes. Oh, look, again, okay. These sorts of definitions are subjective, and as Abigail says, shifting and nebulous. When washing machines were made in the 50s with sensors to stop water overflowing is technically AI. Okay, so I'm going to throw in, when I have talked about artificial intelligence, I was going to the extreme of saying consciousness, a conscious entity, something that could be defined as a being. And this is where I said the fundamental flaw in saying humans are going to create an artificial intelligence on that level, a consciousness. It's impossible because humans can't even define human consciousness. So how do you code for something you just do not understand? And this is why I said, when I see all these techno nerds, again, people who are far smarter than me, so, maybe they're right and they get to laugh at me being the stupid bastard that I am. But everything I've read of these techno utopian types who talk about artificial intelligence in the term of a consciousness and the singularity, as in computers being smarter than humans and humans being able to upload their brains to computers, etc. All of that involves magical thinking. It's not scientific, it's not logical, it's not sequential. They go, oh, we're here now, and my magical dream future that I believe will happen is here, and I cannot logically and coherently connect the now and the future. And so it requires magical thinking. But I will also say, stuff we take for granted now would definitely have been regarded as magic in the past. So maybe it'll happen. Maybe it will. There's a line attributed to Arthur C. Clarke, I think. It's either Arthur C. Clarke or Isaac Asimov. As a line that's attributed to them that says, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And there's something to that. So, Michael, you never understood the thought if robots got too smart, they'd take over. Why would they want this crap planet? The robots, they don't need breath. Yeah, they just fight. It would behoove the robots and the artificial intelligences who don't need a friendly atmosphere like Earth to just fire themselves off into space and get the fuck away from the meat puppets on this planet. Abigail, you think artificial consciousness is possible? As humans having consciousness, we'll stumble onto it one day, not realize it since we can't define. But see, that's what I think. See, that's magical thinking. I'm not saying, again, and that's where I want to put in the proviso, stuff we take for granted today would have been seen as magical only decades ago. I mean, smartphones, this little thing, I mean, they're friggin' amazing. I think they're magical now, but you go back a while and they're definitely magical. So when I describe this stuff as magical thinking, that does not mean it's impossible. But I think it's important to acknowledge that these techno-utopians, it's their belief is no more connected to reality than religious people's belief in a god is. Maybe one day a god will step down and go, I was here all along. Thank you. You can't prove that won't happen. You cannot prove that won't happen. I don't think it'll happen. I don't think that's true, but I can't prove it won't happen. I also can't prove that true artificial consciousness won't exist, that the singularity won't exist, that either artificial intelligences that are equal to or beyond humans or robots that are equal or beyond humans will exist. I can't prove that those things won't exist. I'm just saying, with our current understanding, there is no way to make those things happen. That all the people that believe it will happen, it involves magical thinking. And yes, Jeremy, I don't know who first coined that phrase, but I've heard that as well. Magic is science we don't understand. But yes, it's a similar thing. Morgie, do we ever think we'd be a biological bootloader for God? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but it's a good phrase. Abigail Isaac Asimov said, never attribute to artificial intelligence for natural stupidity. It's also when you see governments doing shitty things and people doing shitty things and fucking up the world, and you get all these people who want to believe that's because there's a secret underground society controlling everything. It's the phrase, never ascribe to malevolence that which can be explained by stupidity. Honestly, the people in power are as stupid as anyone else, and they do fucked up malevolent shit sometimes just because they're fucking idiots and they refuse to consider the impact of their actions. So, yeah. So if you knew how many years ScoMo will be PM, I don't know, man. I don't know. Labor should fucking clean the floor with him at the last election, but I believe they should have cleaned the floor with him at the last election as well. So don't listen to me. Jesus. This comes back to me saying anyone who thinks they can predict the future is not to be trusted. Yes, if you ask me what I think will happen, I will answer you. It will always be with a big provisor. The world is so volatile and so weird and so unpredictable that can't possibly tell you what will happen in the future. Robert Man Greg, they use magic is simply science we don't understand. Something like that in the Marvel movie. You think Thor said it? Well, that's the thing. Yes, Thor and the Asgardians, they regard their power, which we would see as magic, as their form of science. I think you're right that was Thor or the Asgardians who said things like that. So Abigail, when someone makes a system that mimics humans so well to be indistinguishable, who's to say they aren't conscious? I personally loved, there's the TV series Westworld, which I thought was fucking great, and I might rewatch it at some point because it was never what you expected. And they kept sort of setting things up, and because the original Westworld movie is like, oh, robots go crazy and kill everyone. So you thought that's what the TV series was going to be, and it wasn't. But then in the second season, it was the robots in Westworld go crazy and rise up and kill people. And, and then you think it's going to be the third series, you think is going to be a war of robots against humans, but it wasn't. It was more still exploring these metaphysical ideas. But then the very end of the third season is like, oh no, the fourth season is literally going to be war of the robots versus the humans, which is fucking great. It was very good. And in the Westworld series, they explored the robots, the artificial intelligences in the theme parks, reaching a higher level of consciousness through a number of different paths. And it was very interesting the way they explored that, that it wasn't one thing, that different robots within the park reached higher levels of consciousness and understanding through different ways. And then it became this ultimate thing where the park, it was never about the robots. It was never about having better robots and better artificial intelligence. It was actually about understanding human behavior and controlling the human culture that existed outside the park. And they end up with this thing where they've analyzed all the actions of the guests. And so basically, can you model human behavior is what they're saying. Can you flawlessly predict how humans will react? And they used thousands and thousands and thousands of interactions of humans to robots to actually interpret human behavior. And they ended up summarizing people. You thought it was going to be really cool. There was this really fun, cynical thing they did where they summarized the psyche of humans into these really small books. It was like, after years and years of studying human behavior, they worked out humans are not very complex. Humans are these fucked stimulus response things. And they had all these volumes that were the complete psychological profile of different people from the park, and they were very slim volumes. I thought that was one of the funniest things Westworld did when they went, the whole park, it was nothing to do with the robots or artificial intelligence. It was all about analyzing human behavior and being able to predict and control human behavior within culture, within the society. And their ultimate conclusion was humans are extremely predictable and extremely shallow and extremely easy to control. And I think that was one of the best things they did in the Westworld series. It was very good at repeatedly fucking with you. You had a certain expectation of what the story was going to be and where it was going to go. And they would just fuck with you. And they just go, not what you were expecting. We're actually doing something else. If there wasn't so much good TV and so many movies to watch, I'd go back and rewatch Westworld. But there's so much stuff I haven't seen at all that I want to see. It's very hard to keep up with. We're in a golden age of mindless diversion. What was that? That was Brave New World. 1984 was a dystopian future where a totalitarian state controlled everything we did. Brave New World was a dystopian future where we were all distracted to the point that we could never challenge the system. Everyone always talks about we're in 1984. We're not. We're in Brave New World. We have so many distractions fed to us. We have so many stimuli and titillations that keep us in our place. And again, I'm not placing myself above anyone here. I am literally saying I'm part of it. Anyway, I missed a few things. Stella, Dr. Kyle said magic's kind of science we don't understand. Oh, okay, there you go. But yes, and Abigail cited it is an Arthur C. Clarke quote, which I love. A sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. If someone, and again, basic technology we take for granted, and the early 1900s would absolutely be magical. You couldn't explain it any other way apart from magic. Morgie, technology is humans' ability from breaking open a rock to get a sharper tool, breaking open the apple to look inside. Idea of the gods made humans in their image. Well, that's a fun thing. Yes, technology, sharpening the edge of a rock to make it a weapon is technology. One of my favorite comics of all time was Neil Gaiman's Sandman, and he really explores that. There's one with the Endless, who are the anthropomorphic personification of various states of consciousness. So the oldest of the Endless is destiny, because the first time something existed, it had a destiny. The second oldest is death, because the first thing that lived was destined to die. I think dream is the next oldest, because that's about consciousness. As soon as something has consciousness, it dreams. Then the next oldest is destruction, because the act of creation is intrinsically an act of destruction. And then there's the twins, desire and despair, which are a deeper level of consciousness. And the youngest is delirium, who used to be delight. But there's one that's set in the Middle Ages of Earth, when destruction says he's sick. He's the personification of destruction. He's going, look, this guy, he's worked out, and it's Newton working out how light can be split into a rainbow with a prism. He's going, no, I've seen this before. They work out how to split light into a rainbow. Then they work out how to split atoms. Then they get wiped out. And I'm there, and I fucking hate it, and I'm not going through it again. So the act of creation is also the act of destruction. When you create something, you are destroying something that came before it. Philosophy! Yay! Also, Netflix are getting a Sandman series with Neil Gaiman as an executive producer sometime in the next year, and I think it's going to be cool, and I'm looking forward to it. Morgie, technology, saying it's the other way around. The idea of God is a mirror image of ourselves. What we want to be, don't believe. Oh, Rob, that's another fun thing, which has been in a lot of fiction. Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman, the act of belief in a god makes a god real. That is an idea that has been in philosophy and fiction and whatnot for ages. It's like, if everyone believes something, that act of belief makes it real. It's an interesting thing to explore. And I'm going to go to bed, but what's it Jeremy said? Can you imagine how shit it would be being a scientist in the 1600s? Everything's witchcraft. You just remind me of that meme I've seen. It's like, man, being a doctor in the 1800s in the Wild West would have been fucking awesome. People pay you to diagnose them, and you just go, I don't know, man. I think you've got ghosts in your blood. You should do cocaine about it. And that's what being a doctor in the 1800s was. Which rocks, honestly. There should be more prescriptions of laudanum and cocaine, honestly. So it's bedtime. I'm going to bed. Been good and drunk some water, which probably just means I'm going to have to get up and piss in the middle of the night. But, I've been good. I've been largely good. So I hope you'll take care of yourself. I won't be doing a stream tomorrow night. I'll be having a Snuggle London Lounge night with Mrs. Angry, probably watching Britannia Season 3. We started that. I've still got a bit to go. So we might be watching Britannia. Safa, you got a public holiday in New South Wales. Good luck to everyone in New South Wales with a public holiday. I'll probably be doing a live stream on Tuesday night. So you'll take care, and I'll